enough tape now?
Yeah, we should. 3 hours.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, welcome back. I'm Eric.
And I'm Melissa.
And 1 year ago today, I got my first TurboGrafx. So I thought I'd do a little video about that. We're actually going to break it up into 2 parts. Today I'm going to talk about this box system that I got a year ago. And then a little bit later, I'll talk about a Craigslist bundle that I picked up in April of last year. That really, it was a great bundle.
It was like the best Craigslist bundle.
Yeah, it was probably one of the best Craigslist bundles I've seen.
Not just a TurboGrafx bundle, but Craigslist
overall.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that bundle in the next part. So I first became familiar with the TurboGrafx from this magazine. This is the Video Games and Computer Entertainment July 1989 issue. I actually bought it because they were doing a little blurb on the Sega Genesis, and I was really interested in the Sega Genesis. It wasn't until I bought the magazine to read that, and then later I decided to read the whole thing and learned about the Turbo. And of course at the time I was rooting for the Genesis, which ultimately was more successful than the Turbo. And it wasn't until sometime in college when somebody I knew was going to offer us a TurboGrafx, and I said, oh, that might be kind of interesting, but that fell through. And so then it wasn't until many years later that once I had started collecting some other consoles, that I thought, you know what, I should really get a Turbo. I've got a Genesis and a Super Nintendo and that stuff, and the Turbo is another great 16-bit system.
So you put that on your list?
So I put that on my list, and it wasn't until last year that I finally I found this and at a local store and purchased it. And one of the reasons I purchased it was because it's complete as far as I can tell. There's all kinds of, except for the bags, everything's in here, including a lot of the different the paperwork. So what I kind of wanted to do was talk a little bit about that purchase I made that day, and show you what an original TurboGrafx, do an unboxing and show you what an original TurboGrafx looked like when you bought it new. Again, I guess except for the bags, it should be pretty close to what it looked like.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll show you the box here. I think the front might be a little bit faded. I didn't know that at the time, but upon further research, I think it's a little faded. It's consistently faded. It's not like there was part of it in shadow, and but here's the front of the box, and I think this is pretty typical of the TurboGrafx-16 box. I think this is the only box they made with this very excited young man on the front. And on the back there is just a description of the system. It shows the system and the big TurboGrafx icon, and there's just the one screenshot of Keith Courage and Alpha Zones, which is the pack-in game. They were still doing pack-in games at that time. On this side we've got some additional screenshots of some software. We've got World Class Baseball up on the top, and then Legendary Axe, Vigilante, and Victory Run. Which, and then on this side we've got some of the hardware. You've got the Turbo Stick, the Turbo Tap, the Turbo Booster. I guess it's over here. The Turbo Booster, which is a preamp, which allowed you to use AV, and then the CD. Which is one of the more famous, one of the first CD expansions for a console, if not the first. And that was a big selling point for the TurboGrafx. So let's take a look inside and see what we've got. It comes with a nice handle here. It's not that heavy, but it does come with a handle. And like many systems of this era, it comes packed in styrofoam. So let's see if we can get it out of here without destroying the styrofoam. And right on the top is a thank you note from NEC. It says, "Thank you for buying this TurboGrafx-16 Entertainment Super System." Yeah, it's a super system. To get you started, the exciting action game Keith Courage and Alpha Zones has been included. We hope this and other TurboChip game cards will bring you countless hours of enjoyment. Please review your instruction manual before you begin playing, and be sure to return your TurboGrafx-16 registration card so we can inform you of more turbocharged action to come. Well, either the previous owner never read that or didn't care about future turbocharged action, because the registration card's right here. So, in addition to that thank you note, there was this giant poster that came with it, which, let's open it up a little bit here, has all kinds of software or screenshots and then the big TurboGrafx-16 icon right in the middle. But this is kind of gives you an idea of all the different software that was available at the time.
It's a nice poster.
Yeah.
Too bad you can't put it up.
Well, yeah, I probably could put it up.
Too bad you can't, though.
Oh, I can't. Okay, well, I guess I can read between the lines on that one. Here's a product catalog. A couple of screenshots of different software again, and again, the products, the various hardware products available for the TurboGrafx. Instruction manual, good shape, tells you how to hook it up, troubleshoot. Nothing really exciting there. And then we come to the hardware, or the actual. So this is kind of split in half, just like a Wii box. On the top part we have everything but the console. We've got an AC adapter and an RF unit. I believe these are packed in here properly. I'm not really sure about the RF unit. The cable seems to be a little bit pressed in there. At the bottom here we have the turbo pad. This is a pretty standard game pad for the time. It's got a select and run button, and then buttons 1 and 2. Interestingly, it has the turbo built right in. It's got a 3-switch turbo feature, so you can just hold down the button and get turbo fire, rapid fire. So
Fancy.
yeah, it was very fancy. And then, of course, here's the software they were talking about: Keith Courage and Alpha Zones. Again, this comes complete. It's got
there's no tab.
There's no tab. It's stuck on there with an adhesive pad, but the card slides right out. And this one came with a Keith Courage and Alpha Zones comic. And I won't give away the ending, but here's the comic. So this was part of the reason why I liked this bundle, because it came with all of this kind of stuff. But here's Keith Courage. That goes right in there. And then on the bottom we have the TurboGrafx-16 unit itself. And here it is. Yeah, I'm sure many of you have seen these before. The Hue card goes right in here. There's only one controller port. That was kind of unusual at the time. Most game systems came with at least 2. So if you wanted to play 2-player, you had to get the TurboTap, which is a 5-player adapter. RF unit plugs in the side here. And then interestingly, the AC adapter, this is the CD expansion port, or the expansion port connector. The AC adapter plugs in here. And it's a little unusual why they did it that way.
So you have to take off the cover.
You got to take off the cover. Well, you plug it. No, you leave the adapter plugged in.
Oh, okay.
It just comes out the side here. But it turns out that the reason they did that was because then you need to use a different AC adapter for the Sega CD, or for the the TurboGrafx CD, and by putting it over here, it actually gets covered up when you plug it into the Turbo CD dock, so you won't accidentally use the wrong AC adapter input. Anyway, this is the thing. It doesn't have a light. It has just an orange colored piece of plastic, and then it's got a little thing that'll lock the Hue card in place once you turn it on. So that's it. That's my TurboGrafx-16 system. It's complete. I got it packed away nicely in here. Along with this, when I purchased it, they said they would throw in a bunch of games. But once they discovered the games that they had, they kind of changed the deal and said, "Well, look, we'll throw in this one for free." Well, this one is a dime a dozen. I mean, this is TV sports football, and it's also complete. It has the manual, and the tab here is intact, and then it's got the sleeve and the card. They threw this one in. It was actually in the box, but I don't store it in the box anymore. And then they were going to give me these loose games. I picked these 3 out. They had a bunch of them. I picked them out. Some of these I had heard of, and some of them, I'd heard of all of them. And I kind of picked the ones that I thought I was the most interested in. I got Bonk's Revenge. This is the sequel to Bonk's Adventure. It's the second one. This is all I have. It's loose. Didn't have the manual or anything like that. And they also, I grabbed Ninja Spirits. Now this is I had heard of this game and it looked kind of cool. I'm a fan of Shinobi, and this kind of looked like that. Turns out I think this is also an IREM game. Yeah, IREM, which I'm also a big fan of those guys. They made R-Type and Vigilante and Ninja Spirit, and I like their games. So this is one of my favorite games on the Turbo right now. I'm really enjoying that. And then I also got Silent Debuggers, which I picked up because I thought it had been published or distributed or something by Working Designs. I'm not sure if that's true, but anyway, it says Data East on here. But I got Silent Debuggers. It seemed like it might be one of the more interesting games. It's okay. It seems like a dungeon crawler or something. I haven't really played it too much. So those are the 3 games that I got a year ago with my very first Turbo. And then a little while later, I went back to the same store. It was a different store, but same owner. And they had just gotten some other Turbo games in, and they hadn't priced them yet, which was a disadvantage for me because they kept looking them up on Amazon, and the prices they were pulling from Amazon did not seem in line with what I was willing to pay. But they did have this one, and I was willing to pay kind of what they asked for this one. It's complete, and again, it's got the sleeve and the game, and apparently I learned later that this was actually made also for the Sega Genesis. But I like shooters. This is a horizontal shooter. I enjoy shooters, and so I grabbed this one. And so for a while, these were the games that I had for my Turbo. I had Keith Courage and TV Sports and Silent Debuggers, Ninja Spirits and Bonk's Revenge and Aero Blasters. And that's what I played. And I mostly played Ninja Spirits and Aero Blasters. But that was last year. I got this all a year ago, and I've really been enjoying the Turbo for the last year.
I'm trying to... Still collecting.
I wanted to... I wanted to get some from PRGE, and I wanted to get some at the gaming expo that happened 2 weeks ago. The swap meet. But at the swap meet I missed some, and at PRGE I didn't see very many, and the ones I saw were loose, and I've been trying to get them, complete. I did pick up some boxes just in case I got loose ones later, but maybe we'll talk about that in the next part, and I'll show you what those are. So that's it. That's my original TurboGrafx-16 unboxing. I got it in 2013 for the first time. What is that? 24 years after after its introduction, and it's been a great year to get to play around with the TurboGrafx.
Yep.
So please join us for part 2.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching.